Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Class 7 English Unit 3 Oil Spills. In today's class, we will do reading comprehension exercise E on page number 62. In this exercise, you have to read the text thoroughly and then you have to fill in the given table. You have to give information about the oil spill. For example, the first thing is the owner of the ship. So the name of the owner was not mentioned in the chapter, but it was mentioned that it was a Greek ship. So if it was a Greek ship, it means the owners were Greek. So I have already wrote the answer for you as an example that how you're supposed to fill in this table. Then the second one is the contents. Contents means the things that were in the ship. So the ship was containing crude oil. So I have written that as well. Now the rest of the table is to be filled by you. So first read the chapter completely and then write the rest of the information in the blanks. For example, ran aground on means you have to write that date on which the oil spill occurred. The oil ran aground on the floor, on the ground. What date was it? Then you have to write the reason that why did the oil ran aground. The oil ran aground. Why? Because there was a crack in the hull of the ship. That is why the oil started to spill from the crack of the hull of the ship. Then you have to write the place, that where did this happen. Then you have to write where was the crack. There was a crack in the hull of the ship. Then you have to write the date on which it split completely. The date when it started to spill, it was different. First it just started to spill. ठीक है, पहले सिर्फ spill हो रहा था, it was just dripping, but ultimately what happened? The ship split. So there were two different dates for both of the events. You have to read the chapter and you have to find out both the dates. Then you have to write the quantity of the oil it's mentioned. It was containing 67,500 tons of oil, but they have not asked you whether they were containing of which amount or what amount were they containing. They're not asking you the total amount of the crude oil. They're just asking you the quantity of the oil spill, means out of 67,500 how much oil spilled on the ground. The whole crude oil did not, the 67,500 ton of oil, it did not completely spill on the ground. Some of it did. So you have to write that quantity only which spilled on the ground, not the complete amount of oil. Then you have to give three results, means you have to give the consequences of the oil spill, which we have already written in the question answers of this unit. For example, you can write the people were facing health hazards, the fishes were in danger, the fishermen were hungry, and the birds were dying. There were so many consequences because of the oil spill. You just have to write any three of the results. In the next exercise, exercise G, page number 63, you have to read the statements and then you have to tick the correct column. For example, there are some statements and the columns have been named as 1, 2, 3 and none. Means first you have to read the statement and then you have to write the number of the news in which you found the statement. For example, the first statement is everyone should join hands to save the fish and surroundings from disaster. Was this statement a part of the first news, news 1? No, it was not. Was this statement a part of the second news, news 2? Yes, this statement was written in the news 2 in your book. So that is why I have marked a tick in the column news 2. Just like that, the second one, 20 doctors set up a camp to treat the workers along Clifton Beach. This statement was not a part of any of the news. It was neither a part of the news 1 nor a part of news 2 and 3. So because this statement was not mentioned in any of the news, that is why I have marked a tick in the last column which says none. Means it was neither a part of the first column, the second, or the third. Now, the third one is officials of the different departments sat down to discuss what each department could do. This statement is mentioned in the news too. That is why I have marked a tick in the column 2. Then the beach would be cleaned on a vast scale. Again, this statement was a part of the news too. And number 5, hundreds of local drivers ran to the oil spill to fill their cans with crude oil. So this was not also mentioned in any of the news, neither in news 1 or nor in news 2 or 3. So that is why I have marked a tick in the last column which says none. So this was just an example of how you have to do this exercise. I have completed 5 statements. You have to complete the rest of the statements. You have to find whether the rest of the statements are a part of the news 1, news 2, news 3, or none of these. Number 6, the oil remaining in the tanker would be removed so that more damage is not done. Number 7, the people responsible for this damage will have to pay for it. Number 8, a ship carrying large quantities of oil ran aground. Number 9, the ship was sailing along Clifton Beach when it ran aground. Number 10, the beach and air is being polluted and is unsafe for people. Number 11, people should not visit the beach. Number 12, inhabitants of a village of fishermen died after eating contaminated fish. Number 13, turtles were taken out and washed and rehabilitated in the government hatchery. Then 14, many schools planned field trips to the disaster site. And number 15, a long queue of cars was seen leaving the area. You have to find these statements either in the news 1, news 2, or news 3. And if you cannot find the statements in any of these, just put a tick in the last column. Your homework for today is to complete exercise E, page number 62, and exercise G, page number 63 in your book. I will see you in the next class. Until then, take care and Allah Hafiz.